Hello, everyone. If you are joining from Europe, I hope you are having a good start to your day. And if you're joining from Australia and New Zealand, I hope you're having a good evening. And if you're joining us from rest of Asia, I hope you are having a very good afternoon, like Angie and me. Today, Angie and me, we are very excited to have this session, but also it's a bittersweet moment because today is the last official live session of this virtual phase, and we will miss meeting you every Monday. However, we have an exciting session plan, and we cannot wait to share all the updates as well as support you with your ITP development with your mentor. So with that, some admin notes. As you have seen, as you were entering this session, we have some, we had this slide where we requested you to rename yourself, team name, first name, last name, country. And from my screen, I can see that most of you have done it. So a big thank you for that. So only for mentor, if you are a mentor, please, before your team name, write your name as mentors. For example, mentor Stavri. So if you could write that way, that would be great and easy for us to facilitate the breakout rooms. So we give you a couple of seconds for that because most of you are already done with renaming. As I can see, it will only take a second to do this adjustment. I can see. Wonderful. Okay, so if you have any questions throughout the sessions, please raise your hand, and we will allow you to, share your comments or questions. And since today is heavily focused on peer-to-peer learning and team building, we request that you turn on your video. In that way, we can engage with each other better. And also, please don't share your screen or unmute yourself so that, there is no interruption and we don't have any background noise or interruption to the session. So yeah, these are the very straightforward admin notes. And moving on, let us share with you the agenda for today. So hope all of you are now settled in, and we will give you a very brief overview of ITP teams. All of you know who, the team that you are part of. So we will not waste time on that. We have sent very detailed introduction emails, so hopefully all of you had time to read through all the information. We will share the template today as well, and we will basically go through the template and respond to any questions that you may have. And we have some practical tips on the design and implementation. However, we will not provide a lot of information, just some very straightforward ones and some practical insights. And then majority of today's session is dedicated to your learning, to team building with your mentor, and also working on your first team assignment so that by today, you can finish this assignment, or at least, most of the discussion that's required for this assignment. And we have two lovely alumni who will share some insights and advice based on their experience participating in previous editions. So we will hear from them, and then we will end the session with question and answer as well as what to expect next. So with that, I think it's important for us to highlight at this stage again, the program stage where we are, as well as the conference invitation criteria so that you are aware. And we have been routinely highlighting this so that all of you are aware of the information and then can prepare accordingly. And a big congratulations to all of you. You have completed the self-learning phase, and today we are having the last team building session, so the team learning phase. And from our side, we really appreciate, the commitment you have shown, the support you have shown to each other for peer engagement and peer learning. So for that, thank you. And after today, it's fun time with your mentor. So it's independent. We will not be there. You can have your comfort zone with your mentor and have the conversation that's needed to design a meaningful, innovative teaching practice for your team. And very briefly on the conference invitation criteria, as you know, our resources are limited. However, our goal is to support as many of you as we can, but still we might not be able to support all of you who are part of this cohort. And for this, we want to remind you that we will prioritize participants who have been actively participating and also contributing to peer engagement by asking questions, sharing comments. We understand that some of you might have classes and you have informed us if you couldn't join a session, so that's noted as well. And in that case, we hope that you watch the recording that are available on the learning platforms. And so we are done with team learning sessions today. However, these two are the official sessions. You still have your team learning sessions with your mentors and team members. So 4 independent team learning sessions. And we hope that you will also actively join and contribute during those sessions. And we have 3 deadlines for ITP submissions. One, we have already communicated with you on 7th of July, initial ITP idea, and 2 are mainly based on the templates or detailed ITP submissions. And of course, quality and strength of the designed ITP. You might receive the invitation from us, but if your team is not doing well and also not providing an ITP that should, pass the evaluation in terms of joining the conference, ASEF has the right to reserve the invitation. And we hope that even after the conference, you are committed to, if you are selected, committed to contributing to content that we need for the ASEFClassNet18 publication that will be published based on selected innovative teaching practices. So with that, what is the ITP? We have already covered this during the project introduction as well as last team learning session, but let us remind this to you again. So ITP is a key outcome of your ASEFClassNet school collaboration capacity building journey. And it's something that's tangible. You can see it and then you can feel proud of. And we are really looking for creative and effective education or teaching methodologies through this ITP that supports, improving learning outcome for your students. And of course, through this ITP, we are also hoping that, you have a better peer-to-peer learning and engagement experience in this program. Through this ITP, we also want to empower other educators. So we hope that the ITPs that get selected for publication will have that resources and resources as well as insights to empower educators and learners beyond this ASEFClassNet community. Now, some of you have received, all of you, not some of you, apologies, received the team introduction email, and you have seen this, SOSI interdisciplinary language. So let us explain what are those. This time, based on your feedback from last year, based on alumni feedback from last year, not all of you participated last year, we decided to focus on subject because it's easy for you to design an innovative teaching practice based on what you are teaching in your school. So we have 15 teams in total. And out of these 15 teams, we have 5 teams who are focusing on STEM because majority of you are STEM teachers. 4 teams on language. However, 1 team might switch to interdisciplinary. So we will update this later. And if they do, then we will have 3 on language and 4 on interdisciplinary. And then the rest of the teams are focusing on social science. And the template, I think our mentors who were participants before are aware of these elements. We have in our template a design phase, implementation phase, and post-implementation phase. And the publication information is separated because we will only communicate with those whose ITPs get selected. So now, before we share detailed information about the ITP template, let us very briefly update you about some practical tips. So first of all, design phase. In this phase, the first and foremost, one thing that we highlight for all of you to ensure is inclusive and supportive team communication, conversation, and environment, and support as well. Because once you establish this, once you have a team environment where everyone is supportive and everyone is aware of internal deadlines or how the team wants to work, platform that you are using, whether it's Google Doc or WhatsApp group. I think the rest of the deadlines or phase is very smooth because everyone is on board and everyone is on the same page. And it's very normal to feel overwhelmed and excited and, having so many ideas. So we always encourage you to clearly define a scope, timeline, because your timeline for implementation is only 4 weeks. So design something that fits this timeline and reflect very carefully about what you can achieve in this timeline and the impact that you want to create. So scope is absolutely important at this stage. And then, as you know, during the implementation phase, sometimes your school leader might not be okay with the way you want to implement. We encourage you to capture photos from your implementation stage. So there might be issues related to capturing students' photos, and you might need permission from the school or their parents, depending on your student's age limit, age. So in this case, please plan all of these relevant permissions and approval and consent that you need. And then as you move towards the implementation phase, hopefully you'll have all of these permissions secured. And you might need support from us as well, for example, a letter, right? If it's related to flexibility or time change in terms of your schedule. So you need that from us. We need time to prepare. So please think about this beforehand. And during the implementation phase, if you are, for example, organizing sessions with your students, so all of the team members is students, then time zone might be an issue. So in this case, you need to plan and prepare based on this, time zone, and then a specific requirement for the sessions or the activities that you are running. So please plan and prepare those beforehand. And here I would invite later during the Q&A, Lena, one of our mentors, to share some information because she did it very beautifully last time, capturing before and after data. For example, before you design this ITP, what was your students' engagement or learning outcome that you were targeting, and what was the outcome or engagement afterwards? Of course, the metrics or the specific elements that you are targeting will be different, but it will be good to have this data. And of course, as part of this project's topic, we want to make sure that in your ITP design, you are ensuring having an insights in terms of relevant, effective, inclusive, ethical AI use. So make sure that you have that reflection and insights in your ITP. And for post-implementation phase, we don't have a lot of advice. However, we want to highlight that there are a lot of opportunities out there that you can, go for based on the ITP you have designed. For example, applying for a grant opportunity or award or participate in a competition or running it as a project. So we encourage you to think about those. And of course, once you are done with implementing, you have a lot of interesting insights and data, right? So please keep the communication and visibility activities active so that more and more people are aware of the work that you are doing as part of this innovative teaching practice. So with that, very briefly on publication stage, not all ITPs will be published, but who knows, maybe all of them will be published if all of them are outstanding and have the potential. And we'll do the initial selection after the design phase, and then the final selection will be based on the your submission after the implementation phase. And we will, of course, in every stage, if you are selected, whether you are selected or not, we will keep you posted. And you will be the author in this publication because it's your work, you are designing it, and your mentors will be editors together with us. And this is, of course, this needs, further review and edits by experts who are, teaching teachers and teacher educators as well. So together with us, you have already met them. They were the speakers for first two webinars, Professor Sengchi Tan and Dr. David Huang from National Institute of Education, Singapore. So they have been also supporting us in terms of the template as well as the publication template that they will be later sharing. For now, it's just for your information. And you have a team assignment due, and we have received some inquiries before this session. And once we, when we shared this introduction email, some of you are very worried, some of you are very excited. But from our side, we want to assure you that this is a very quick assignment. The main goal of this assignment is to get all the team members on board, all the team members get into talking about the ITP idea. It's okay if your ITP idea is not solid after you submit this assignment. What we want to ensure is that everyone is active and everyone is contributing. And mainly, we want to know the type of AI tools that you were using as part of your ITP. You don't have to use if you mention them during this assignment, but we want to have an idea of the types of tools you are using. And it's very short, only 200 words. So it should be done ideally after today's session, but let's see. So now we are going to open the breakout room. And we have, let me take a very quick screenshot from the breakout room. And also, actually, let me stop sharing the screen. And we will share the template later after you are done with the team meeting with your mentors, because we don't want to overwhelm you with too many information now, so that after the team meeting, you are more relaxed and you can go through the template. So let me share. It should be very straightforward because it's based on number of teams. So team 1 to 15. So if you were part of team 1, you were in a way team 1. So it's very straightforward. And we have allowed for you to join your breakout room so that it's easy for you to navigate through this. Only one quick update. At least three mentors have 2 teams. So what do you do? For those mentors, please, everyone in their teams join the designated breakout room, and the mentors, you will have to switch around. So you will go to the first team and then give them some instruction and get them talking about the assignment, and then you will move on to the next team. And in the meantime, the second team who are waiting for their mentors, you can already, start talking to each other and wait for your mentor. And we will be in the main room, and sometimes we will also go through all the breakout rooms to see if anyone have any questions or need any advice. So we will do that. So anytime if you have any questions, you can send one of your team member to the main room, then we will be there to support you. With this, now let me set the timer first. So we have some buffer time, but your actual conversation should be a solid half-an-hour conversation with your team. Yes, the timer is set. Now we are opening all the rooms. So please immediately, once the rooms are open, join your team. Find your team and join your team. Okay, I think everyone is back here. And for those of you who don't have any background about this conversation, one of our alumni participant from Austria, who is Claudia's colleague, who also introduced Claudia to the project, just dropped by. So really lovely to see a familiar face. So first of all, very brief Q&A. How was the conversation? Who would like to volunteer for some brief remarks? Anyone? Okay, very quiet. No worries. Okay, now let me share. Do you see the ITP template on your screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So our mentors, you are very familiar. Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Our mentors, you are already familiar with this because you have gone through this once, and you have done a wonderful job. That's why you are here as a mentor. So for our participants, let me very briefly walk you through this. And we will upload this on the learning platform and also share via email. So if you have any questions after today's session, no worries, you can reach out to us and we will clarify as much as we can. So very basic information about team, about your goal, title, and key summary. And in the design phase, the key goals, and one of the team actually, they were discussing about whether this ITP should be for teachers or students. And let us remind you, in the past, we made some exception because of the topic area and focus area, and our goal at that point. But this year, since we are doing a publication based on this ITP, the main target audience for your innovative teaching practice are your students. So you are designing something to improve your students' teaching and learning outcome. So please remember that. And let's say based on your role in your school, or if you have any questions, or if you are confused, or it's complicated for your team, no worries at all. List down your questions and write to us, and then we will get back to you. Okay, during the design phase, here you see target group, we identified what student age group is this ITP suitable for, meaning the main target group is the student, it's just the age number, since some of you are, teaching multiple subjects, and you might want to develop this ITP only for one age group, not for the all subjects that you are teaching. So that's up to you. So first, it starts with, of course, key goals, target group, pedagogical framework. I heard in some groups you were discussing project-based, flipped learning. So yeah, we are referring to those types of pedagogical framework. This is very important. In the design phase, we request you to reflect on whether your ITP, in this design, how you are going to make it effective, inclusive, and ethical in terms of the AI that you are using. Learning outcomes, very important. Key activities, also very important, but straightforward. And here we have some examples, so you can pick one of those. And of course, you might be using different types of resources. Some of them are online, some of them are offline, so we want to know about them as well. Impact. Reflect back on your reflection exercise that you have submitted, as well as also did during one of the sessions, the impact 1, 2, 3 impact activity. So you can, rely on those insights when you are discussing as a team about the impact of this ITP. And of course, we understand that there are challenges and challenges with that. Also, there are mitigation plans. So we want to also see that insight in this document. And during the design phase, during your first deadline, which I will share later, we only want the design phase. Implementation phase is when you are implementing. Implementation phase basically at this stage is an idea. You have not implemented yet, but what are you doing, right? Because at this stage, you already have ideas about your design. You don't have to submit post-implementation reflection and plan elaborately now. We might reach out for more details, but here it's rather, for example, this first question, you can only answer this after you implement your ITP, so you don't have to. So some of this, you will leave it blank. And here some of the questions are related to planning. So then you can add those. But based on our reflection at this stage, at the design stage, you don't have to write responses for all of these questions because these are mainly for post-implementation. But for example, this one, partnerships and stakeholder engagement, you can already answer this now, depending on what you're planning to do. It may or may not happen, but that's just a plan. So very straightforward, and we will upload this on the learning platform. And then later, if you have questions, we will try to respond to a couple of those. But we have two brilliant and lovely alumni waiting to talk to you. So let us give them the floor. Then we will have a short Q&A to support you better in this journey. So first of all, let's invite Miss Claudia Müller from Austria and Mr. Benny Pan from New Zealand. The reason we have invited them today to share their insights with you, Claudia's team, they have done such a lovely job collaborating and coordinating as a team. So they are not on, that team, they not only implemented an outstanding innovative teaching practice, they won the ASEFClassNet Innovation Award under Gold category. And now they are implementing this innovative teaching practice as an EmpowerEd project. So EmpowerEd is a new initiative of ASEFClassNet where we are aiming to, give educators floor to empower other educators. And Benny, on the other hand, Benny's team and Benny, I think one of Benny's team are still a participant this year as well. They have done such a creative job in terms of presenting their ITP, and they have come a long way the stage of, when they were presenting, depending on how the ITP was before. And we can tell that they have worked really hard to visually as well as creatively present their ITP. And that shows how strongly and how well they have communicated with each other. So we thought Benny will be able to share, some insights based on his experience that will help you. And Benny is also leading one of the Empower It project because he took an initiative to actually reach out and then share his idea. So without further ado, let's invite Benny and Claudia, and let me stop sharing my screen so that we can have a conversation. Yes, Claudia, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Jyoti, so much for this warm welcome and introduction. And hello, everyone. For me, it's a pleasure to be back in this community because a lot has changed for me during participation in the ClassNet program 17 last year. And so I was asked to shed some light on the ideation journey of my team. And I think the most important information you have to get from me is, first of all, my team was a teacher from Singapore, Sifong, and a teacher from Australia, Hang, and me from Austria. And we were put together coming from different subjects. And I remember very much so how excited I was. And I can imagine that many of you are excited, maybe a bit anxious of what to expect. And the most important advice is to stay with it. Really work through it together, because it's the team effort. In our case, it really was a team effort that made all the difference. We have learned a lot from each other. So it started with the idea to do something about climate change activism in particular, because we looked at what was happening in our countries, and it was really interesting to see how different it was approached by students in each country, in each local setting. But it was very general at the beginning, and we established a good routine of meeting more than weekly at the beginning, and we set up a WhatsApp group and a Google Drive that helped a lot to just gather all the information about the context we are working in. And so we thought we want to inspire our students to take action. And our mentor, Juliette, did a fantastic job preparing us for the actual ITP template, because for me, I'm a practitioner, and these documents scare me first. And with her, we worked through this template to see, what do they want from us? And it's not rocket science. It's what we do on a daily basis in our classrooms. I think that is something you really have to bear in mind. You are all capable. You were selected for this program for a reason. So all the knowledge is there. And don't be afraid if you do not immediately know what to do as a next step. And this is what the team is for. So for us, a turning point was when we asked ourselves, what do the students want? And this is when we said, okay, for them, it's the most interesting part to meet the students from the other countries. So that's how we set up the asynchronous learning platform through the Padlet first, and we also set up a Zoom meeting. So because we wanted it to be fun, to be exciting, and not just an assignment they have to do. There's a lot more about the teamwork and how to work through time zones, but I realized also in the introduction today that Jyoti already is emphasizing this part about the time zones, and for us it was super relevant. It happened at 2 meetings that only 2 of us were present, because once Austria had a shift in the time zone, like we had changed from winter to summertime, and then Australia also has this. And Singapore was there, Sifong was there every time steady, because his time never changed. And just to bear that in mind, and don't be upset, and don't be afraid that sometimes it's getting passionate. And maybe we have to find words to find a common language in between. But we all share a similar vision when participating here. So these would be my first words here.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And I think such practical insights about the ideation journey and teamwork, I think is very crucial for our participants to hear based on your own practical experience. Benny, could you tell us a bit about, the importance of clear communication based on your teamwork, and as well as any other advice or insights that you would like to add to that?
Thank you. I think our team is probably one of the, how to say, we are in a really good position to tell because we, in our first try, we were like, I don't know, half an hour over. And we went from like 10 minutes to 90 seconds. That was a huge achievement. But but I think partly because when we first met in person, it was such a surreal feeling. I mean, you've been working together as a team for months, and all of a sudden you can hug each other. I don't know how to explain. So yeah, we dragged on and on and on. The presentation just went on and on because we have so many ideas to contribute. Yeah, I think the whole excitement really contributed to that. But storytelling itself, I think, is super, super important because if you watch Shark Tank and other pitch TV show, if you can communicate your design, your work, and most importantly, your why, your purpose, no one can understand. And that's so important because you need your audience feedback to help you refine your project so you can implement better. And and I think we have such a beautiful team because we are just so different. We have Mark and Peng Fei who are the curriculum experts. Hi, Mark. I know you're here. And they have contributed so much in terms of the expert knowledge. And Monica is really creative. I've seen her work, and she's just super super creative. And then myself, I'm just being honest here. Like with me, this ADHD and also a bit technical. I always add a hint of drama and a bit of humor, so that kind of help. And yeah, I think when we meet together, we get to know each other even during just 5 days. We find out each other's strength. And I remember one time I think a really important element is to find your synergy. I remember in our last pitch, we found some mistake and we actually edited our slide. Sorry, we didn't tell you. But we secretly went to the back and we just tested the water and okay, how about that? We just talked to the tech guy, we bribed them with some food, see how it goes. That's what we did. So luckily they're super nice. Thanks to the Filipino hospitality, they let us change our slide last minute, and
Aha.
and we nailed it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I so sorry
No.
telling you 9 months late. Yeah, and build that's how we build skill together because we recognize each other's strength. Yeah,
Thank you,
and
Benny.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think you already covered what Claudia is going to share later about what it takes to win, but we didn't know that, and not that we encourage it, but you made it happen. So I think for everyone's context, we want to just highlight that. So we have this Innovathon day when every team presents and they get peer feedback. And Benny, I think after your presentation of 10 minutes, you still had 10 more or 20 more slides. I don't know. And it was only supposed to be 5 minutes, but your team's ITP, it was very creative and it was really good. And we were also trying to support you, right? So we were very worried that because of this timing, you will not make it to the final phase with the jury. We have a jury, right, based on their evaluation. So we gave you very strong feedback, and still we were very worried whether you will make it to 90 seconds from that long presentation, but you really surprised us. And I think that's an example for everyone that if you work really well together as a team, communicate very well with each other, anything is possible. So now, Claudia, what it takes to win.
Thank you so much. So Benny really gave a very good impression of what is happening when you're working as a team, all the energy that you put into. And for sure, what it takes to win is to make an effort and be engaged and be interested and open also to all the feedback that you get from your mentor at the beginning, but also from the students. And what we found out throughout the implementation phase, or not even later at the conference when we listened to the presentation of a keynote speaker, is that we have overlooked a crucial part. We talked about climate change activism in our ITP, but we never looked at how much the generative AI we're using actually is also a factor in the whole climate change debate. So this paradox we didn't look at, and this is something that happened afterwards. But what it takes to win is also to reiterate, go over it again, and be able to change your ITPs. And don't think that the thing you're pitching at the beginning will be the thing that you're implementing and presenting at the end. Be open to the process. I think this is something we also, like many other teams at the conference, we worked the nights before and tried to really look at also the keywords. They are giving you the rubric that they're telling you what they're looking for. So try to find that in your ITP. Everything is out in the open. ASEF is not making any secret about what they think is important. So listen carefully, put in the work, and have fun. Really have fun with it, because this is what it's about. We're all doing that in our free time. So it should be something that we find beneficial for ourselves. And our team, as Jyoti already mentioned, is now doing an Empower Ed project. We have a publication already that was published in Austria, and we have been awarded for that. That's new information just 2 weeks ago. We receive a small remuneration for this publication. So things keep on happening. And that is the great thing ASEF has made possible for us. That this is a starting point, that even if you're now feeling a bit overwhelmed, this very structured program has helped us evolve in so many ways. And so test your project idea with a few students or teachers early on. Maybe get some feedback from colleagues for your ITP also. Is that something they would use? So these are very tangible tips for how you can win, but also listen to all the sessions. And if you were not able, because last year I was also not able to participate in all the virtual sessions because I had to teach, but I really listened to them, and that does make a difference. So yeah, just engage with it. And for me, it had a huge personal impact. I mean, I'm trying to be in every ASEF program that is available for me now, and I'm advertising it. And I do feel the whole idea of looking in the synergy between Asian, European, and Oceanian countries is a huge, huge win for everybody. There's so much to learn from the regions.
Thank
So
you so
that's
much, Claudia. While it's important to reflect on what it takes to win, but from our side, we want to highlight that we celebrate all of your hard work, because I mean, we do this innovation award competition because, you know, to create a competitive spirit among all of you. However, as you can tell from all the team's work, especially Benny is here. He's not from a award-winning team. However, they have done such a brilliant job in terms of what they have developed. So I think we really want to emphasize on this journey what Claudia just now said very beautifully, evolving, how she evolved as a teacher, how this whole journey really, you know, opened paths for her to make her teaching and learning more creative and innovative. So on that note, Benny, what would be your concluding remarks and advice for our participants?
Yeah, I would like to start with this quote from Steve Jobs. So he said this: "The only way to do great work is to love what you do. But quite often, if you haven't found it, keep looking, don't settle." So what I mean by that is that I'm a really disruptive person, and I like to disrupt the status quo in a good way. Okay, and quite often I love challenge. But if you ask yourself, if you come to ASEF and if everything is too easy for you, and if you go to a conference and you haven't found the synergy, the energy, or the challenge yet, go look for it. And personally, I thrive in chaos and I thrive in challenge. And that's what makes me excited and passionate. So don't accept the status quo, and your project will prove that innovation will thrive on pursuit by pushing the boundary. And push the boundary nice and wide and push deep. Okay. Embrace the discomfort of the unknown. And I know it's not for everyone, but I believe that's how you grow. So yeah, all the best. I miss all of you guys.
Thank you so much, Benny. Thank you so much, Claudia. And from us and on behalf of our participants as well, a big thank you for making time for this session and for sharing your advice and insights. So with that, now let me share our screen again so that we can okay, yes, a big thank you to both of them. So we will, since we only have 5 minutes, but we will stay a bit longer here in case any of you have burning questions. But let us share the important updates first in case, some of you have to leave a bit earlier. Okay, so you are done with your halfway through team building journey. You still have your sessions with your mentors. And in this context, we want to highlight that sometimes the timing that we set for you every Monday, 4 p.m. Singapore time might not work during this phase because this is when you cannot watch recording. You have to be there in person and participate in conversation actively. So please feel free to change your time if needed in discussion with your mentor and team members. And your first ITP assignment is due on 7 July. I saw a lot of some of the team members are very stressed about it, but we want to say that please don't feel stressed. This is your initial assignment just to have those initial conversations, get all your worries and fears out and find that angle that you want to take for your ITP. It's okay. Even after this assignment, you don't have it because the ideas will evolve. But please make sure that all of you are on the same page and all of you are talking to each other and have at this stage in 2 weeks' time, we are hoping that you will have team norms and team culture built already to work on your ITP. So we wish you all the best for that, and we hope that you are having an inspiring time talking to your peers and mentor. And your second ITP assignment, it will be due on Monday, 11th of August. And as you can see, previously it was 3 p.m. Singapore time, but I moved it to 4 p.m. Singapore time in case it helps. But we don't expect you to work up until the last minute. We hope that you can submit well in advance. So at this stage, we mainly expect the design phase very solidly and some ideas about your implementation. So your planning, post-implementation will come later, so don't worry about it. And then your final ITP assignment submission is on 1st of October. So basically at this stage, you are done with implementing. So the implementation timeline, for those of you who are wondering, it's September. It's already stated in the program overview you have. So please have a look at the program and concept note again if you, in case at this stage you need a refresher, all the information are there. So our advice is not to wait for the deadline to have all of your information added and submitted to us. As you are implementing on a weekly basis, use the template and have all the content already, transfer there. As a team, I think you can divide your task. We require you to submit this document in a Microsoft, all of these documents in Microsoft Word document, and you can use the same document that you are submitting at every stage. And please don't submit to us via Google Doc or Google because we need to then format it from our side. We will share this template in Microsoft Word document with you. Please use that same document and fill that out every time. And we are working very hard to prepare the conference invitations for those of you who completed all the criteria successfully, and you will receive those invitations very soon from us. So we are looking at around end of July, early August. It can be even before that if we can complete all this evaluation and preparation for this. Any questions? Since deadlines are important, let me pause here for a second. Yes, Maria.
Thank you, Jyoti. Yes, I have a question that was raised during our session in the breakout rooms. It's about, I'm not sure if I understood clearly, implementation should be done until end of September, right?
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you look at the program, up until end of July with the sessions with your mentor is design. A team might work independently and differently. That's up to them. We don't want to impose, but we are looking at the design phase done by 28th of July. And August, we know that August is usually a holiday period for teachers. So August, basically, if you, as a team, if you're done with your work, that's your holiday period. You don't have to work. And we know that schools are closed, especially in Europe during this time. So implementation is impossible. Then in September, you can implement. And if, for example, you might need extra time to implement it, so it might go through October. So let's say even after the conference, that's fine, but please check with us. So as you are designing, if you see that your implementation time, depending on when your school is opening, because, you know, when you come back from summer holiday in early September, it might be very difficult to immediately implement the ITP, right? Your students might take time to readjust with the routine. You might need time to catch up. So please let us know. Let us know, then we will also for your team update our information accordingly. This is especially important since we are doing a publication based on your work, and we will have to also select ITPs for publication. So we will then, based on your team's progress, we will decide how we proceed with this. So for that, keeping us up to date based on your planning is very, very important. But Maria, yes, at this stage, September is the implementation timeline.
Okay.
4 weeks, any 4
Okay.
weeks. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I think anything else? Yes, when you come to the conference, of course, that's a different conversation, and we will communicate that differently. On a later date. For now, we want you to focus on the design phase. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
Vimala here.
please.
Okay, since okay, just now I also already checked with my team as well, but I just a bit confused. Okay, since my teaching subject is Tamil language, and then
Yes.
we are collaborating, right? So,
Mhm.
okay, okay, let's say we design, okay, to improve writing skill or something like that.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
if okay, definitely I will be execute my lesson in Tamil language.
Yeah.
And then okay, when we collaborate with let's say we collaborate with other other students from different continent, right?
Mhm.
So it's definitely going to be in English. So I'm because I'm thinking then how am I, because my as a Tamil language teacher, I was thinking, okay, I want my students a Tamil language writing skill need to be improved. So through this collaboration,
Mhm.
they want they supposed to improve their writing skill or something like that. But
Mhm.
so then I keep asking myself, so but when they communicate, there's going
Mhm.
definitely need to be in English. So
Mhm.
how it's going to improve their Tamil language? Because as you know, in Singapore, the Tamil students not really using Tamil language to speak
Mhm.
or even
Mhm.
write. So yeah, so I'm a bit confused.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very important
yeah.
question, Vimala. Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
Okay, in this regard, so in this context, we don't want to impose any specific criteria or rules or any specific advice, but what we are really looking forward to from your ITP, because it's focused on language, right? So it doesn't matter what language you are teaching, but when you are thinking about designing an innovative teaching practice to teach language better, what does it mean? In terms of the tool that you are using effectively, so focus on the project's topic, which is effective, inclusive, and ethical use of AI and AI tool in
Okay.
teaching. So yes, you are teaching a different language than English to your students, but if you are reflecting on these key areas of using AI tool effectively and with inclusion and ethics in mind, make your students and students from the other teachers have a conversation about that. So at the end of the day, it's the methodology is on teaching language, but in terms of learning outcome, you're also supporting your students build the skills about the topic around AI. So that's one way to approach this. And we also want to see the type of creative ideas you have in terms of approaching exactly issues like this. But let's say in your team, together with your peers, you are still not sure. In that case, please write an email to us. Either we will set up a call with you or we will respond to your questions in writing, whatever works. But please don't wait for the last minute. Reach out as soon as you can. But I hope I at least helped you a little bit.
Yeah, I got it. So
Yeah,
instead of a focus on the context or content, maybe focus on the
it's
teaching
the language.
pedagogy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
got it.
and thank you. And this is for everyone's information. Yes, we have the ITPs on STEM, language, interdisciplinary subjects, but don't forget at the end of the day, all of you are coming here from different countries across Asia and Europe. Intercultural understanding, intercultural communication, diversity, inclusion, these are some of the areas that are important for your students, especially intercultural communication and understanding. So that's something that you can have in your learning outcome for your students. That's something that you can achieve in addition to the ITP that you are building with a focus on a specific topic. I hope that you have some rooms in your ITP to approach those kind of 21st century learning skills. For example, global citizenship, right? How do you bring your students together through this ITP to create some opportunities that address global citizenship skills? So that would be our advice on that. I saw L'Oreal previously raised her hand. Do you still have this question?
Just really quickly on the template, it said team
Yeah.
name.
Mhm.
Is it our team 11 or whatever, or do you want us to create something new? I did have a look at last year's ITPs and noticed they had some funky names. So are we going with creating some cool names as well?
Yes, absolutely. And good thing that you have a mentor who went through this process and they know. So yes, so I think I can share some names from last year. And Angie, if you can remember, share as well. I think we had Digital Innovators, Climate Alliance, blending. No, sometimes I confuse the ITP name with the team name. Apologies for that. But we have some really exciting names. So the reason we do that is because we want you to build that sense of belonging to your ITP as well as to your team. We don't want you to just feel associated with the boring name that we assigned, Team One, Social Science. We don't want to do that. We want you to have your own unique name that all of the team members feel associated with. So we thought it will be also fun for you to just find a team name that works for you. So after you do that, basically we will update our database based on the team name that you share. We will not refer to you as Team One Social Science. We will refer to you as whatever name that you decide on. Any other questions? Mike is very quiet today. Usually in every session he has a question. So
Yeah, it's 4 in the morning here. I'm just trying to stay awake. Yeah.
No worries, Mike. Thank you. So I think we are running. Of course, we are running over time, but we really appreciate your patience since this is the last official live session. So this is very important. And thank you so much for your generous support with time and for staying with us. We don't have a lot of other information to add. So we just want to thank you for your hard work, for your commitment, for your resilience as well, and the commitment that you are going to show together with your team and your mentor to design your ITP. And from our side, we want to emphasize again, we will be here, although we will not meet every Monday from now on, but we will regularly check our emails, and we have a WhatsApp group with your mentor. So anytime you have a question, you communicate that to your mentor, they will get back to us. And anytime you have a question that you'd like to directly ask us, please don't hesitate. Feel free to just drop us an email. Sometimes, depending on our project peak period, it might take a while to get back to you, but know that we will get back to you. So I think we will still be here since this is the last session. If anyone has any comment, remarks, or questions that we can help with. But for those of you who need to leave, thank you again for being part of this journey with us. We wish you a very good day in Europe, a good afternoon in Asia, and a good evening in New Zealand and Australia. Thank you so much.